So I was watching Marielou in Boston for the creator camp, and I don't think that good content creators should be scary.
It's true. I-
Wait,
Like
wait, wait.
what makes a content creator leave the conference? Like how afraid could you be at a conference to just leave it?
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, and I love haunted houses, and I was spooked enough to be like, "That's good enough for me."
Say, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, because the
Not
conference was over, right? It was over. I was
I
just didn't want
got you.
another night in the hotel.
I got you. That makes sense. That makes sense. Let me tell you where we were. It was no problems. I slept like a baby. I think
I'll
what
tell you next time I will be there.
mm.
think it was the Hampton Inn or something
Yeah,
like that. It
I was
was
like,
great. It was
put
great.
me
The
in the
breakfast was
corporate
great.
hotel.
Yeah,
Hey,
I had a
they have
great time.
officially announced Creator Camp 2. So
Yes. What were the dates? It is what? I wrote
It's
it
in
down. 15
October, somewhere
October
around the
15
same
and
time
18.
frame. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I put
so
it on
so
the calendar. I don't know. I'm going off what Mary Lou said, but I put it on the calendar already. So it's a must go.
Hey guys, if you're catching us live right now, we're just catching up with Mary Lou, and of course, you see my man Kirk here. We're going to get started in just a minute, but we would love to know that you're watching us right now and where you're
Yeah.
watching from. So just type hello, and we'll be sure to say hello back to you. I've already worked, Mary Lou. We already did a live. Where were we? We were on Instagram,
It's like
so
a
you
little
can
warm up live.
a little warm up live, exactly. And she's just always super ready. She is one of my favorite content creators.
Mm.
Like if I had flowers, I would give them to her right now. So I'm gonna send all the love. It's not. I'm not doing my
You guys
fingers
like
right.
this.
Listen.
It's not
Oh,
happening, Mary Lou. What am I doing wrong?
It could be just something set up in your I don't know. I don't even know how it started. It just happened.
So Mary Lou just taught me, guys, how to do singles, signals inside of your phone for Instagram Live, and different things will happen in the background. She told me the thumbs up one. Hers is working on hers, but it's not working with me when I do it. You did one, so do both of them. Let's see what happens. Is it not happening now?
I'm
Uh,
not
uh,
using
uh. She
I'm not
doesn't
using
want it.
Ecamm right now.
No. Well, this is through Apple Gestures, I think is what it's
Oh,
called.
cool.
And it's something like if you're FaceTiming, you can do it. So now I had an issue where I had to figure out how to turn it off in Ecamm because I was like, I do a lot of hand signals and I was doing something and I did something and I was like, no, 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 I didn't want this animation to come up. So I
Yeah.
had to figure out how to turn it off. It's wacky, but if it comes up for anyone, tell me. I can tell you how to hack it. So it
Right,
will.
so it's just super cool. Like there's a thumbs up one, there's a rock and roll one, and again, I'm saying it like I know. She just taught me this just a few minutes ago. Do the
Yeah.
hearts again for me so everybody can see those heart things.
See if it wants to. The hearts is
There you
like
go.
solid. That one works really well, but the other ones seem to be struggling to register. It did.
But I
It did
think
on the
it's
phone
super
though.
cool. It did
Yeah.
do it on the phone. Like it's recorded on Instagram Live. We did it together, and it even worked on my phone. So it's really what we're talking about today, guys. We're talking about how, as a content creator, you can be creative in your content creation. Like Kirk, we see this all the time. People are just duplicating what they see other people do. Like, where is the creativity right now?
Yeah. 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 There are a number of people who just kind of so the imitation is what they call the ultimate form of flattery, right? So I'm not, as I like to say that to people all the time, I'm not throwing them under the bus because sometimes you got to imitate in order to get started. But you should be able to bring your authentic self to whatever it is that you do. Kind of put your own little stamp on it. When you're learning, you want to learn. Now, I have a video on my channel where I was showing people how to do this overlay in Canva, and somebody commented like, "Thank you so much. I was able to create the overlay." So I followed, through the link, went to their channel, and they created the exact overlay that I. Everything was exactly the same. And I was like, okay, well, now you've gotten started, but you need to kind of put your own little flair to it, put your own little style to it. Now you know the components, you know the framework. So now it's time to kind of make it your own. So
I think, having that where people will do some things, of course, everybody, Marielou, Kirk, everybody wants to trend. Like
yeah,
everybody wants to be a trending person and all that. And I get it. You want to do some of the trending thing, but what really separates you as a
yeah.
content creator? So as people are coming in, I see the comments growing. We're gonna get to the comments in just a minute. But Marielou, let me ask you this question. In what you do as a content creator, because you create multiple pieces of creative content, not just talking head, you do product stuff, you do a lot. Where does your inspiration come from?
Mm,
It is my inspiration comes from following my gut. So it's like a very strong creative intuition that I have because I've been practicing that muscle, strengthening that muscle for a really long time. A lot of when people are like, "Oh, you're so creative, you're everywhere," it's because I'm not afraid to look wrong. I'm not afraid for it to be bad. So I do it a lot. Like if you
Got
make
you.
more shots, you're gonna get more things right.
Ooh. Okay,
yeah.
That's
stop.
the
You,
only
you
way to
gotta
do
stop
it.
right there, Mary, because you did a sports analogy. You hit a home run. If you take more shots, that gives you a better opportunity to make them. That is
That's
Mhm.
good.
so true. Because I think it was the other week, Kirk, you said it that you is basically you have to be successful, you have to fail a lot.
Yeah. First attempt in learning for sure.
And just for people to understand this, it's not going to be perfect. So my youngest son is 18 years old. He loves playing when he was younger, playing video games, like all kids, right?
Yes, sir.
But when he would get to the point in the game that he was about to lose, he would turn it off. He would stop the game. So what
Mm,
that did, he in his mind, oh, I didn't lose, I stopped the game. But it's important to have those experiences of losing so that
mm.
you learn how to win.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just miss that. I'm telling you, if you don't put out bad content, you will never get to a place you'll put out good.
You can't review your content unless you actually put out some content to begin with.
Right,
And
that's
that's
like
where
my whole saying, right? Is this create,
oh, I
release,
like
repeat?
Oh my God. There's on a t-shirt. Like that made it to a t-shirt.
It did
I
at
like
one
that.
point. I'm sorry,
I
I didn't
love
mean to
that.
cut you off, Kirk. I
No,
apologize.
no,
No, no,
no.
I
This
love
is
that.
this
I
is
love
how
that.
this is how we go round
Yeah.
robin. Like you're
That's how
part of
we
the
do.
game. And again, I'll say it, one of my favorite content creators. So we'll just kind of make this conversational. I
Yeah.
do have questions for you, but I stopped you in talking and you making that point of just having more opportunities. Because even with the YouTube game, you can't say you're a content creator and you don't have hundreds, not 100, but hundreds of videos up.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I know not everybody does teaching content or how to content, but I do, right? So my channel is filled with how to do this, how to do that. Hey, they came out with this new feature. This is what you want to be looking for. If you're looking for a streaming setup, these are some of the things I'm generally teaching. But everything I'm teaching came from something I failed at. So every video came out of an experience where I learned something because I did it wrong. And I'm simply trying to help others to avoid where I made the misstep. And so, it's almost a cheat code. Like I'm looking for failure. In fact, a lot of times when I do my community content where I'm going live, I'm looking for them to share with me, well, I did this and then this happened. I can't tell you how many videos I've got out of those types of sessions where those questions come and you're like, a couple weeks ago, I figured out how to do something because somebody asked me. I was like, no, you can't quite do that. And they were like, well, I was thinking, what if you did something like this? And what they said wasn't quite right, but it led me down a rabbit hole. And I was like, oh, you can do that. Ah, so now I have a whole new video and people are like, how do you come up with this stuff? Gotta fail. Gotta fail
Yeah.
fast. Gotta fail often, put out more content.
And being a creator, like just even the word creator, you have
Mm-hmm.
to, it is the act of creating, which is a continual evolving process. Like you never are the creator. Like, it's
Right.
never going to end. You have to continually grow and try things. So
That's
I
it.
think about like when I was learning how to cook, right? So if you have like a dish, okay, you go by the recipe the first time,
Mhm.
maybe the second time, the third time.
So
Then
good.
you're like,
So good.
okay, I get it. Now let me add a little bit of flair.
Is it
Let me
this?
try
I mean,
something a little
yeah,
different. Like
yeah.
now I've done it like 50 times. I can just do it the way that I like to do it because I've made changes, but it's not the same as the original recipe. But that is the process of creating content is very, very similar.
Mm.
So, what approaches? I mean, you just explained this, but can you put it in the content creator approach? Like, how do you approach the new change in your thought process? So you've doing it, and now I have this new thing I want to do and see if I could shake it up a little bit. Like, what is your approach to throw in the new ingredient?
Well, like specifically, over the past couple of years, it's been tutorials, like specifically on my YouTube channel. Okay,
Uh
so
huh.
like if you follow me on all platforms, you know it's different on all platforms, but that is also I can explain on the YouTube channel those things, right? So all of the chaos, it might seem like it's just random, but it is so I can teach these things to other creators. You have to be
Mhm.
Right.
doing the thing in order to teach the thing.
Right.
Right.
So in
Oof,
doing
that's
that,
so
like
good.
right? You have to. Like you
Have
Right.
cannot
to.
be afraid to also be doing the thing and making the mistakes and being there with the folks doing the thing. You have to. Because
Yeah.
why did you learn the thing that you want to teach? Because you enjoyed it, because
Right.
something brought you to it. So in order to teach it, you have to continue doing it. Otherwise, you're gonna also be sad. I will tell you that. Like if you just do teaching and you like lose the thing that you came for, you're gonna just be sad. So don't let it go.
I
Don't
like
let it
that.
You know,
go.
this is why education as an industry is shifting their approach towards practitioners or some of their professors actually still being in the field, because there's this thing that happens when you take somebody out of the field, put them in the classroom. Now there's an expiration date or a date. Their content, their relevance has a expiration, because
Mhm,
the day somebody else comes up with something new and they don't know about it, they're no longer relevant. And
mhm.
so what you're saying is absolutely correct. It's not just from the perspective of if that gives you life, that if that refills you, don't stop doing it just because you're teaching it. But also, you can be more relevant to those you're teaching because you're still practicing. You're still actually doing stuff. You're still actually learning. And Strick and I believe you got to learn it in the morning and teach it in the evening, right?
Yes.
And fail at both of them. Well, I messed that one up.
There it
Let's
is.
do it again.
Yes. Yes.
Do
I
it
So
again.
love
the
that.
to go back to your question though about like how to shake things up
Uh huh.
is it's kind of been a rule of mine forever. Like my whole like creative life is to do the thing that scares me. So
Mm.
doing like actual long-term live streams. Like forever I was resistant to it. I'll go live. I'll go live. We'll do interviews. We'll have a topic. We'll talk about it. But like, let me just turn the camera on and say, I'm going to be here for 2 hours. We talk about whatever we talk about, or we do nothing. I don't know, but I'm here. And that used to scare me. So I started doing it. And now Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go live on YouTube for 2 hours. And, like Dan is in the chat here. He hangs out with me all the time. Like, yeah, and then we talk about things. People have questions. Cool, we cover it. If not, then I don't know. I just work on editing videos, but I'm there because it scares me because it's like, well, what do you do to fill up this 2 hours? Well, I figured it out. I'm there and I'll do it and I let everybody see if it's a mess or not.
You just talk like you go, like
Mm.
whatever comes
Mhm.
up. I've really, you know what? Let's do this. People have been waiting, and I'm so sorry. We've been just talking and chatting it up over here. Let's go to the comments. Let's check you guys out with what you have to say today. So I want to start at the top. Anybody there, Kirk, you see I need to just go to, but definitely shouts out to my man David. He was the first comment
Yeah.
today. Let's go, brother. And
Yeah.
yes, we are live. Tori, man, thank you for coming through today. It was
Yep.
so good to see you. Awesome Wood Things. Thank you for hanging out. Hello to you. And yes, Marielou is
Honest
everywhere,
accomplice.
and I had to have her on the show for the new season. So I'm so
Absolutely.
grateful that she took on, and it was just a couple of weeks ago I said, "Can you come?" And she says, "Yes, I will be there." And you gotta always try new stuff. Like you gotta be at a place where Mary Lou said it. Even if you're afraid, will this work? Will this not work? Just try it. You just never
Yeah.
know. You never know. And hello, fam. Like this is
Elisa Thomas.
yeah, she was hanging out with us bowling. At least she
That's
got
right.
mad
That's
at me
right.
because I was talking too much junk at the bowling alley.
I remember that.
Oh, I always like to see success and failure
That's
makes
correct.
you normal.
Yeah.
Yes. I I don't know what that says. Okay, try
Say that again, DJ
Yes,
Strick.
yes. Whatever
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, whatever I
Whatever I said.
said, I'm saying it again. You know.
Oh
Tech
man.
Turtleneck Roy, good to see you today. Thank you for
Oh
hanging out
Roy.
with us. And a lot of people are saying hello, and I'm with you. She lives in LA, so I take everything she says with a touch of smile. Okay, listen. I do believe, Marielou, that you being in LA, and I'm hoping I'm getting to the right button here. Not the right button. I'll find it here. It's
That's
me and you
okay.
first. You
We're all
being
still
in
here.
LA does give you a little bit of. Nope, that's not it either. There it is. You being in LA and your experience in Hollywood has helped you a little bit see some things from a different lens than a lot of us. So my lens of being a DJ and your lens and being in Hollywood and all the stuff that it encompassed, what do you feel like from your experience that adds to your willingness to be creative?
Absolutely. I was just thinking about this because yesterday, Will and I went to go see a movie that was at this mall where my first job in LA was at a Cheesecake Factory as a waitress, and I was so
No.
grateful for that job. And that was in 2007. So what's that like 14 years ago? Like 17
Wow.
years ago? I don't know. It's like I've been in LA for a long time. So I did a lot of work to get here.
Gotcha.
So I was in a small town before, or like I was in Florida, right? So even though Orlando is not necessarily a small town, but it is different than LA.
Right.
Yeah, it was smaller. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, maybe then, right? Like it's a different
Yeah.
game at that time. So coming out here, I've had to learn this skill of you just got to keep failing and going because it's not an easy town to be in. So I'm like, if I can make some semblance of a life here, like the internet, like sure, let's go. Like it's fine. Nobody sees this, that's fine. Everybody sees this, that's fine. I have to do this. That's
Oh,
where
that's
I'm
Yeah.
at
awesome.
with this. It's like I have no choice. Like I have thought and thought and thought of what other paths could I go down. And I've explored them. I was an event producer. I've been a waitress. I've worked in restaurants. I worked in casting. I worked with agencies. I've explored all these things, but it always comes back to wanting to create videos, like since middle school. So here, that's what a lot of that experience has taught me. So it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean you have to be in LA, but being in LA, because it's a hard city to be in and you have to really want it and have to understand, like, if this is what you want, you just got to keep going. That teaches you a lot about life.
Right. And teach you about who you are as a person as well.
Mhm.
Like, do you have the fight? Do you have the grit to really get down into whatever it is that you want to be successful at to make some type of success for yourself? And
Mhm.
even sometimes people have different levels of success. Sometimes success is just getting the mortgage for the next month.
Yes.
Come
I
on.
did it, you know? Especially when
I'm
you
happy every month I can make rent. Like I'm just so grateful for that because there's times in our lives like,
Yeah.
if you've lived that life, like there are
Right.
times where you're
If
like,
you
I
know.
didn't quite make it. You
Yeah.
like if you know, and I feel you and you can do it. But like
Yeah.
you have to keep going. You can't just let
Yeah.
that like you can't end the game before you lose.
Oh my
It
God.
otherwise what is the point?
What's the point? I love it. So let
Sheesh.
me do this. I actually stopped off a little early with Dan, but I want to get to another comment here because I hadn't seen Andy before. So, hey, fam, Andy, thank you for coming through the stream show tonight. This is a good one because we got Marielou here. Never stop learning. So true. So true. And Gretchen, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We're trying to do our very best with this show. David says always innovating, which is so true. And Equip Institute, we just saw an example of failing. We all pushed the wrong button during our live stream. That was not a fail. That was on purpose.
That's an exploration of strict setup.
Exactly. I was just trying to show everybody that I have multiple screens. G. Albert, thank you for hanging out with us.
See,
Because
Albert.
if you guys are around me long enough to know that I will hit a wrong button, and I was actually last week. I'm gonna tell this story, and we'll get to the next piece of being creative
I
because
love
I
these
really
stories.
want to inspire you. Kirk said, "I love these stories." I have tons of them. So Kirk was flying in last week, so he was. His flight got detoured just a little bit, so he was a little late coming to the show. I'm setting up inside of my studio. I have the same setup always. And Marielou, I'm going to get to your setup because you look extra crispy today. I love how you look. My setup never changes. And my camera kept going out. And it's a little far away from me, and it's giving me like a line that's telling me what's going on. And it was saying that it was too hot in the camera was getting too hot. I'm in my basement and I have a heater in this room, and it was super cold last week in the South. I mean, it was in the teens, right? So I
Mhm.
have this heater on, so apparently it had to be over 80 degrees in this room, and I'm feeling good, t-shirt on, and the camera's like, no, man, it's hot in here. So I had to open the door to my room here in the basement of my studio just to let air in to cool it down. I literally did not know that I was overheating my camera because I wanted to be nice and toasty in the studio. So I learned that lesson. It was nothing wrong with my equipment. The Sony 6400 is an excellent camera. It can handle everything. It was just too hot
Except
in this
heat.
room. Exactly.
Dang. Hey, you learn, and now you gotta do what you gotta do to make sure that thing is cool.
Yeah, so when I'm live, it gets precedence of the climate of the room. The camera does. So I
Yes.
can't be comfortable. The camera has to be comfortable. So I learned that. I learned that live. So, Mary Lou, there's different ways that people can create. Now we want to give them like some real sauce to if they haven't thought about creating in this style or this particular video, what they could do. Just kind of thinking outside of the box. I want to get into the Marielou Mandl world of everything is possible. Can we give them a couple of ideas of maybe some things they haven't seen that they can be creative with?
Yeah, like if you so I would always suggest go to the place that you're like, I am terrified of that. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Like whatever that is. Like, is it TikTok? You're like, I'm scared of TikTok. Go in there and learn TikTok. Just go in there and try it. Tinker with it. You might hate it, you'll discover, or you might love it and then you'll discover. But either way, you've discovered something that's going to help your creativity overall. Now, like if you're coming from like a business standpoint, then like it's different, right? So if you're like your business is a storefront and you want to be consistent, right? So like if we're going to In and Out and all of a sudden they have pizzas, we might be like, what is this about? But they might have like a side business where they start pizzas. Like you can have accounts that people don't know about. Like I have like if you like if you searched my name on Instagram, it'll be like 10 accounts that like are mine that are private or they're like little test topics or projects that that are just different things because I'm always willing to experiment. So,
got it.
if you don't know where to go, go where you are scared and go a
Mm,
little bit out of your depth.
that's
So let me
good.
ask you. Let me ask you this
Go where you're
question. And Kirk,
scared.
I
Oh.
know you have something you want to say on top of that, Kirk. So I'm gonna let you go. But as content creators, and I go Strick as an example, you can make one piece of short form content and spread it over all of the ones that actually take it, right? So TikTok. So I'll do something in less than 60 seconds, so I can make a YouTube short. That same thing could be on Instagram. Same thing could be on Facebook. Same thing can be on TikTok. And guess what? I made one post on all of the platforms, and I'm done for the day. But that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about saying, hey, how can you make a piece of content that may be that you can be afraid to make for TikTok?
Yes, right? Like
For
if
that platform, like going the extra mile to meet that audience where it is.
so that one piece of content that you made and you posted it everywhere, you feel comfy with that. That's okay because
Right.
you made it. It's low risk. You made a video you're comfortable with. Okay, so then I will also say, regardless of the platforms, make what feels good for you because they are always changing. Like now TikTok wants YouTube style videos,
They
right?
want longer
YouTube wants the
form.
TikTok style videos.
Yes.
Yes, they want
Instagram doesn't
shorter.
know who she is.
No.
So
Yep.
it's she never knows. Like Instagram, she's in a millennial crisis. So
It's
That's the
true
best I've
though. It
heard.
really
It's
is.
so true.
right. So when a thought that I've been having lately about being authentic, right? That comes up a lot is be authentic, be authentic. And I struggled with this is because I'm like, okay, be authentic. Do they mean like you have to just do it off the cuff on your phone, which is fine. I can do that. But like also making a video with the microphone, with the camera, with the set, speaking well, answering questions, being who I am, that is still authentic to me, even though it looks high production. But this is, I know how to do this. We know
Right.
how to do this. That is still authentic. So, like, I really want people to kind of shake up this idea of what is authentic. It's like, it's just being who you are, where you are now.
Mm.
And if you're trying to move, you're trying to like level up your stuff, you know, it's like you can make stuff on your phone. Great. Like, please do it. I still make stuff on my phone, but also this is also authentic to me. This is also how I make content. This is how I express myself.
Mm.
So do that. Don't think it has to look like anybody else's stuff.
So when it comes
Yeah.
to Kirk, I know you wanted to say something because I'll be talking to Marielou and cutting you off the whole time.
No. I was just gonna say, look, there's some components of what Marielou is sharing that kind of speaks to something larger and bigger and deeper, which is something internal, intrinsic to you. Why do you create the content? And then how do you challenge yourself? How do you challenge yourself? How do you get outside of your comfort zone? If you recognize something that is comfortable, which is a whole thing that you may have to figure out. How do I assess that I'm comfortable here? And when I recognize I'm comfortable here, now do I just kind of settle in? Or do I say, all right, what will make me comfortable? What
Right.
what would be the next thing to push the envelope? And I think those are the things that you follow some of these channels and these platforms, these content creators, they are constantly pushing the envelope. They're not satisfied with today's measure of success. They're looking for a different level, a different standard tomorrow and the next day. And they don't compare against other people. They only compare themselves against themselves. So I just wanted to hone in on that. That's something she said there that I really hope that people are taking to heart, especially when you look at all of your content as a full offering of what you do.
So you also mentioned being authentic, and some people may have their own thoughts about it or what's authentic. How am I being authentic? I always tell people that when it comes to, let me say it this way: I was in radio for more than 20 years now. And with the radio business, it took me, and I tell people this, it took me the first 2 to 3 years to learn my particular, I say it's voice, but it was more personality.
Yeah.
Like it took me all of that time to learn my personality on the radio, knowing that the different parts of the theater of the mind you have to create with radio. Understanding the words that you say because you really want that person that may be in a car, maybe multiple people in a car, but you're talking to one person. Everybody hears it like you're talking to them. And learning how to be a bigger personality than I normally would be. It was not unauthentic, but my role as a DJ to have to be the head of the party. I'm the mouthpiece. I'm the MC. I'm the master of ceremony. Even on the radio for the 30 seconds in between the songs, I am your guy. Now, off air, I could sit and be like, oh man, I'm tired, I'm sick, or whatever. But when I press the button to go live, I have to come to life. And I think when you are doing live, not that you don't want to be inauthentic, but you can have a personality that's another side of you for the content creation, because I think some of the best content creators are introverts. Now I'm an
Mhm.
extrovert, but there's tons of great content creators. If you see them away from creating content, you're just like, why won't they talk to me? Like they're super shy, but they turn
Mm,
on when they're presenting the content. And I think that learning what's good for you to be successful in whatever it is, whether you feel like you're being authentic or not, don't just make up something, that is not you. But having a larger than life personality for what you're doing makes sense. One of the things that I use for content creation is when I really, really get stuck, and I know people like it. Guys, I really think people like when I just throw up the banter between me and my wife. Like the short clips with me and her going back and forth, or me talking about her sometimes. So my last video was just like, hey, we went to Five Below. So I'm like, I took my wife to Five Below for the first time, and she went crazy. Like that was it is not any other content that I create, but it's content I create for me and her, that while you're watching all the content creation stuff, then I have a personal relationship with her. You get a chance to see another side of me in my content creation journey. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
mm.
there's like that's your personal account. That's DJ Strick's account, right? You're
Yeah,
not
right.
putting that up as an upload on the stream show.
No,
There's like
no.
there's
Personal
because you're
Instagram stuff.
it's a
Yes.
different game.
It's a different
But
game.
I
Facebook.
I love what you're saying about like this kind of character. Anybody who wants to create content, you have to intrinsically want to be on camera if
Yeah.
Yes.
you're even stepping down this lane. So there's already that. Now you have to think about if you were throwing a party, you want everybody coming to your party to have a good time. Like me sitting around on a Sunday afternoon playing video games is a different person than like if it's Friday night and I'm throwing a party and I'm like, it's a different energy. So you got to have that. It's a personality, but it's still you.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
you at your highest, most open and
Right.
energetic self.
Exactly. So you want to be the person like inside of you that people would resonate with. Like, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I always had a band of friends, even in high school. I wasn't the
Yeah.
guy, but we always have a good time together. And I want to be there saying something. And that has always resonated with me. But over time, as I grew, people said, okay, you would be good to lead this. You'd be good to be the host. I absolutely never knew that I had the ability to host events, to DJ, or any of that until one day somebody gave me a mic and I absolutely was not nervous.
Yeah, it makes it's a totally different thing. Like I have, and maybe Kirk, if you have an experience like this, like the first time you were handed a microphone when you weren't expecting it. Like I remember working I was a like promo gal. We were working at a LA marathon and we were like promoting these like little nutritional bars. And we had a DJ and we're just sitting there like at the table and we're just like, here's a sample, here's a sample, here's a sample. And then the DJ's like, here, say something. And me and my friend who were sitting there, we looked at each other. We're like, extroverts, like we're ready to have a good time. We're like, oh my gosh. And we're like, hey, everybody. Like we just lit up because we were ready to have fun with it. And we wanted to put out the energy that would attract that same energy because we wanted people to come to the booth. So we're like, look at how fun this is over here. Come on over. And then they come on over. But that was like, we didn't expect that. We just went with it. And I do
That's
think
so good.
everybody, you should take an improv class. Like no matter
There
what
you
line
go.
of work you're in, everybody should take an improv class. You'll learn a lot about yourself.
And the thing is creating this space so that you know what will come out and then you can use it, right? Because now you know that about yourself. You're like, okay, I can put myself in that situation and I know that I'll shine. But until you have done that, you actually don't. And
You
that could
don't
be
know. Yeah, and to like also to like contradict that, like when I was approaching getting into hosting, right? And it
Mhm,
was
mhm.
newscasting, it was interviewing on red carpets, it was that kind of stuff. So it's like a certain kind of thing, right? So it's like, this is Marielou Mandl, I'm here like it's all very like a certain kind of way. That
I
didn't
love it.
work for me. It was a character, but it didn't work for me. And when things started to actually work out for me is when I could do this presentation, but in my way where I feel like I'm your friend talking to you. But
Gotcha.
that took years to develop because there was years of I'm trying to fit into the thing that they want me to be. But on the internet, there's nobody telling you you have to be this way or that way. It's your
Mm,
channel, it's your content. So just be your greatest self.
But
And
yeah.
Marielou, we
you
both have said the same thing. In the professional world, as content creators, as a DJ, I'm creating content or sharing other people that have created content, but it's still content. You were in the professional world as being a host. It's we said it took me 2 to 3 years to find a voice or to be comfortable in who I was to where I can be in my chair today and kind of sitting back and enjoying what I'm doing and no anxiety, not being afraid, no nerves. And you also said it took you years to figure out where you were best suited in that. So the pandemic happens, everybody gets into their homes and goes live and call themselves content creators with little to no experience and having the question of why haven't I gone viral yet? Like, why do I not have 1 million subscribers? And, it just doesn't work like that for 99% of the people. It'll be 1% that they started yesterday and got 1 million subscribers tomorrow. But that's not what happens for most of us.
and it's like,
mm,
what are they offering that's different, that struck a chord? Who are they connecting with? I don't think people understand, like, really grasp how many people are on the internet as creators
Right.
and as consumers.
Right.
There are so many people that I will find a new creator, like a new YouTube channel, and this person has 10 million subscribers, and like, I have never heard of them.
Wow.
So it's like you have to just continue to find the people who will be into your thing, but they might
Right.
not see it the first time. So also post your stuff often. Like if it
yeah.
didn't work the first time, post it again because
Posted again.
it had 50 views. That means it only got 50 views. So these people, like those 50 people, are not going to be mad at you if they saw it again.
Right.
I love that.
Exactly. I
That is good.
preached to the people I talk to and coach to repost. Like just repost it. Like for whatever reason, some of these algorithms, timing is the issue. Like when you did it, you just never know why it didn't catch any traction. Do it again.
Do
Do
it
it
again.
again.
And listen,
You're right.
if Supermarket Sweep comes on, I don't care if I saw it already. I'm going to watch it again.
Is that what you're watching in your free time?
Sometimes.
Because I got caught watching something that Kurt and I talked about on our show a while ago. I was watching just today this guy mow somebody else's lawn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I watch those all the time. Now I don't know if I watch them over like a replay,
I
but
would watch a
I,
replay.
I watch.
I
They're like
want a new
sometimes
one.
30-40 minute videos, and I watch the whole thing.
Wow.
Somebody else
Got to
is
see the
cutting grass.
transformation.
There's
Something
an
about the lines
audience
in the
for
grass.
everything.
Yes,
Yes,
there
it's
is.
so pleasing. Like human existence can be very pleasing. Like there's a guy who I've kind of seen people started to analyze where his content is just him on his Target runs. And it's just him. He'll film himself. He's on TikTok, I think mostly. He'll like set up little, he puts a phone on the shelf and then he walks up, he smells a candle, he puts it on another shelf, he looks at some clothes. He's just doing his Target run. And people are like, how is he doing so well with this? Now, he got a deal with, I believe, the NFL,
Wow.
a sponsored piece of content that was just him doing his Target run, preparing to watch the game. Like he wasn't like, I have to do the thing everybody else is doing. He just did the thing he felt like doing and it worked. And that was just a normal everyday thing. But he's like, I have a vision. I have a way I could film this, and then did it.
And how many of us would be afraid to do that? Like, who's looking at me? Like, I can't do this, so I'm creating content and I don't want people to see me. I would be super nervous in public creating content. But that nervousness that stops me from doing it is the door that's open for this other guy to do it, and he
Mhm.
gets the deal.
Yeah, and it's not to say like now tons of people are going to do that, and it's not that he's the first person to ever do that, but it worked. He hit that moment because he was creating, he put the stuff out there. Now, I would tell you, Strick, because it scares you, I want you to go film a grocery store run.
That's what's up. I'm gonna do it.
You go
I'm
put
gonna do
you
it.
hide stuff in the shelf, you like, you put it on the
And
shelf, you
then
take something out, right?
and then he
You
sees
know.
me. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna do it. So everybody
Give me
can
a
see.
little reel of your grocery store run.
So she put me on blast, like she's giving me a challenge. Um, I gotta accept it, right? So you guys get a chance to see when I go to Target what I actually pick up, and there's only like 3 or 4 items. It's yogurt, bananas, and deluxe mixed peanuts. That's what I
Right.
get.
Right. But if
Um,
that's the prompt, how now you have a prompt, you have a story, you have a subject. Now, how will Strick tell us that story?
wow, I
Cre-
gotta figure it
I like
out. Like
creative stuff like that.
where I'm gonna put the camera and walk in. Like you now I see content creator videos. Like here content creators, they set the camera up, they walk in, close the door, and then open the door like wow. Like but hey, that's part of what you gotta do. And
Yeah,
not be
yeah,
afraid
yeah.
of it. So next time you see us, maybe next week, I'll have a video promo of my Target run. And Kirk, I have to be accountable to you, Kirk, because I'll show Marielou, but you can be like, Marielou told you, Strick, did you do it?
No, man,
Okay.
listen, we're having way too much. We're having way too much fun. That's really what it boils down to. But no, I don't know. Did you get a chance to catch any of the comments as well?
I haven't. But while I look at some of these comments and you tell me, Marielou, you got to tell us how are you looking so crispy today? Like,
Yeah.
what camera are you using? Have you did something different in the studios? Tell me what's going on.
So this is something I've always wanted to ask people. When you say crispy, what does that mean to you?
Okay, I'm sorry.
But
So
because it's like I don't know. I
'Cause it
have
could
not
be
found
bad.
like a clear, solid like answer from anyone
No,
because it's like a little
it
different
means
for everybody. So
no.
what's it mean to you?
I feel like we could reach through the camera. It's just so
Mm,
crisp. Like the
I like
quality,
it.
definition. Like
there
I
you
could
go.
see
There you
individual
go.
strands of hair. It's crazy how clear. So it's really looking crisp.
So one
Okay.
thing that we do, or I don't know if this is an African American thing or whatever in our culture, sometimes we just pick words and just
Really
make
do.
meaning up for them. Because crispy definitely goes with chicken.
Yeah, and I
May
love
not with
that.
cameras, how does the crispy go with the camera? But just like we say, well, that's a crispy piece of chicken, that's a crispy look of your camera. It really looks good, crisp, clear. It looks excellent. Like that doesn't look like one of those store bought cameras. Like you got
Mm.
something nice going on over there, some great lighting. It's more than just a regular camera thing happening here.
Well, I appreciate that because it's been like lots of tears, lots of experiments, lots of moving things around in order to
Yeah.
get it to this point. And I'm happy with where it is now. Like I was actually making some adjustments right before the show today. But here's my fancy way of showing you guys what
Let's do it.
the setup is. Are you ready? Here's a
Yes.
mirror.
Oh my God, that is so innovative. The tech that you're using right now is blowing my mind.
Right? Isn't that crazy? This is my mirror. Sometimes I use this little one because it captures the focus a little bit better.
I
But they
love
make
that.
fun of me on the live stream. They're like, everybody needs a little pink mirror. So this is my
That's
little
what's
mirror.
up. I don't have a mirror
So
in here.
this is a Sony ZV-10 with a Sigma
Wow.
16 millimeter.
Wow.
Right. And then I got the laptop right next to it so I can see our stream. I've got so I've got my ring light, and I know there's lots of hatred for ring lights. And like if you were starting now, I would not suggest getting a ring light. But this ring light has been with me since the beginning of
It's
desiring to
nostalgia.
be a content creator.
Yeah.
Like she's
Yeah.
been with me the whole time, and it's a light source. Like there's other light sources in here as well. So
So
it's
so
more of a like we've been together. We've been in this together. So I don't
so
get rid
if
of
you're
her.
using a ring light and you look like you look, that is a professional setup.
It's
Regardless
fine.
of what people say, it looks
Mhm.
excellent. I would have thought that maybe it wasn't a ZV-10.
Mhm. Is that
Uh,
right? Yeah, it's ZV-10 or
ZV-10.
ZVE10.
ZVE10, I didn't. It looks great. I mean, you look excellent. Really,
Thank
really.
you.
Like I really like, and I've seen a couple of evolutions of what you're doing in the studio,
Mhm.
and I love it. That Sigma 16 could go a long way. I have one as well,
Yeah.
and
'Cause I
I
had
think
the M50 before, because that's like I think both of us had that same 16 millimeter lens with the Canon M50, which looked good. And
right.
then I switched over to Sony because I loved how it looked, but I will say photography. They are dramatic with the heat,
Yeah.
with the over
Yeah.
that she has her own fan like this. You talking about like her
Yeah.
comfort is more important than mine.
Exactly. Exactly. My camera during the live stream, my camera's comfort is more important than how I feel in the studio. And if you're
Yes.
telling me that you have even more of a diva that you have to have a fan on it while you're running it, I
She's
was
got
like,
her own fan, and I've got her little remote here
wow,
that, when
the
she's
fan
like,
remote.
I get the little signal, and then she's like Beyonce. She's like, turn on my fan. And
I love it. I love it. Kirk, you got to help me out, man. Where do I need to go in these comments?
Listen, we have a number of people that are asking all kinds of stuff.
Okay,
Well,
let's
some of them
go.
are more commenting. They're more commenting, but I think the question from Marielou about crispy did strike a chord. She's like, I'm so glad you asked that because that doesn't necessarily
Who said
mean it's a
that?
compliment. I think it was Gretchen, maybe. Where is it at here? I'm scrolling up to find it. Where did
it's
that
not
thing
too
go?
far back.
That's what I thought. I saw it recent. It was just one of the ones that it just came up. Thank
Like
you,
6
Marielou.
or
Yeah,
7
images by
back.
Gretchen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marielou, for asking that. Crispy is not always a compliment in the world of still photography. So that is definitely one that I thought was very interesting there as well. But again, it's just different cultures, different things. I think that's absolutely
Listen, you could pick any word and in our culture and we can make it. That's cool. Like you're looking so bluish. I'll figure something else out to say, but crispy
No, but like
word.
other people do call it crispy. Like I've seen
Yeah.
it on like photography and videography channels. They say like you really want that crispy image, but like now I'm interested, Gretchen, like what does crispy mean to you? So I just always want when I see videos and like it like exactly how you guys described it, where you're like it looks like you could reach in and you're like actually there. That's what I want.
Yes.
Because I look at other people's videos and I was like, why does it look like I'm just looking through a window? And
Really?
sometimes it does not. That's
Yeah.
how, I don't know why. But I did change picture profiles. I think maybe that was like the most recent thing I've tweaked on here. So it's been a long evolution of like little adjustments here and there on the
Yeah.
camera. So
I
it's
got
not
it.
like the factory settings. But I can't
So,
tell
like,
you what I did over time.
even for me, what for the evolution of not evolution, but your journey with any camera, it's gonna have change. You could have this ebb and flow. You're kind of learning different things on it. Manual mode. There's so many different knobs and buttons and things that you want to be able to look into. I actually, for the ZV-810 specifically, there's a video of like almost 45-minute video that Diana Gladney does where she kind of walks literally scene by scene, menu by menu through the entire camera, which I have sent several coaching clients to just as a get started, because the ZV-10 is such a great camera. I think me and Strick already kind of named it the go-to creator camera back in December or November. But those are some of the things that really help to give you some of those tweaks that to make the picture look the way that you want it to.
And let's have a little moment of appreciation for Diana Gladney and her content. I send people links to her videos like at least once a week. When someone's like, do you have a video about this? I'm like, I don't, but Diana does.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And even like sometimes when I do have a video, I know hers is like explains it better. I'm like, just watch this one. It'll get you to the point.
Yes, we definitely have to shout her out and all that she does for the community at large, especially getting us all to change over to Sony. Like she led that band of change, her and Doc. So shouts out to them. And your lighting looks very pro all through you. So thank you so very much for saying that and for hanging out with us tonight. And I want to be sure. David is like, we'll just get what. Come on, David. Come on up. So he is autofocus. So there you go. What else do we have here? Marielou, you said that the ring light was a she. What is her name?
Nebula.
I saw that one earlier too.
Nebula?
Oh, it does have a name.
Her name is Nebula. Yeah, because it's the model it's Diva Ring Light Nebula, which I don't think they made for a long time, but it was like Diva Ring Light was like the brand that made ring lights at, I don't know, it's like 2015. And this was one model they had that had an adjustable LED light. You didn't have to replace the whole bulb. So she was called a Nebula. So I call her Nebula.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
I
you go.
love
I
that.
mean, I don't
But thank
have
you for asking. She's very pleased that somebody noticed.
what I love that. I
You know,
love
behind the
that.
scenes, not everybody gets recognized. So she's thankful.
Okay, so check this out. The one thing I'm learning from tonight is that to just keep creating. Listen, Marielou has said it. Like, I'm just being honest. If you are in baseball, getting up to bat is a big deal because they're like
Yeah.
20. If you're at 25%
Yeah.
hitting the ball, you're a good baseball player, and that's only hitting the ball 1 out of 4 times. But you got to get up to bat. Anyways, I'll use
Yeah.
sports analogy again, but it is so important. I really want to encourage people, and I think we have tonight. Like we really have, but I don't see that represented in the likes on the channel tonight. Like guys,
Oh
if you're
no.
watching tonight and Marielou has blown your mind with ways to be creative, just show her by hitting the like button. Like why not? And I'm going through here, guys. If there's something that I'm
I
missing,
I do want to just give a quick shout out. Dan, Honest Convo says he's been he says it's like he reminds me of JP High Tech without the 15 minutes of intro. That's hilarious.
oh
But no,
my
I just want to
God.
say a word of thanks because several of people in the chat are talking about a new series that I have on my channel. I just want to say a word of thanks to you guys for the shout outs and for the encouragement. It's a lot, but I mean, I'm enjoying doing it. So it definitely is a refiller for me. And actually, I do the series kind of like you said, Marielou. It's something that I'm trying that's new. It's not actually my primary lane of content. I make it relevant to what I do, but it is not my primary lane of content. And actually did something just like what you said a second ago. I have a TikTok channel, but I have not shared with anybody. I've not advertised to any friends. And I just did a whole series on. It's like 16 or 20 videos. They're all under 60 seconds, and I'm just putting it out there to see what happens. And it's been very interesting to see like and what the response is to the content. These are the things I think, for content creators who've been at it a while, and you're looking for so how do I find the open door? How do I find the discovery type content things that I can do that increase my community size as opposed to just kind of staying right where I'm at? Those are the things that happen when you things that are outside of your comfort zone, outside of your wheelhouse. Those are some of the things that I think that people really need to gravitate towards, and then document. Um, I believe 2024 is the year of documentation for me, at least. I want to write down what I'm finding so that I can actually put those findings into actions. So yeah,
I
I
love
love
it.
the hitchhikers.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes you just have to keep throwing paint at the walls to see what sticks. Experiment and see what works. You'll learn along the way. So, Roy, thank you for saying that. We have so many people in the comments. You guys keep throwing your comments in there. We'll get to them in just a few minutes as we continue the show tonight. K-Walk says she loves the idea of documenting. So for everybody that likes to write, I'll just throw a video up and document it through a video or through a recorded voicemail or something. That's how I like to do it. Marielou, just to kind of end up the show, as we're talking to people tonight about being creative, is there in what you do like maybe one thing that you feel like, hey guys, if you could think of this one way or jump over this one hurdle that could really help you in your content creation journey?
One thing that could help is to think about what is the content you would like to see? What is missing for you out there that you could make? Because if like I was trying to map out what like the content creator or just a creative journey is, right? It's like we start with we're consumers, then we see something, we're enjoying it, then we're like, wait, I could do that. And then we start to do it and we realize, oh, wait, I can't do that. So then we start to learn more and then we get better at doing that. But now we end up doing something completely different. But if you think about what you're seeing when you are consuming, and like you see something and you're like, I wish they would have shown it this way. I wish they would have done it this way. Even if you're looking
Mm.
at your own stuff, then try to make that. Maybe you succeed, maybe you don't, but it you you miss all of the shots you don't take, right? That's what
Oh,
which is just fact. Like you miss every shot you don't take. So you have to take the shots. And if you're needing inspiration, it's like looking for the things that you're like, I really wish they could have done this. I wish they would have done it this way. And then you do it. And then
I
you see.
love that. I love that. And you said something I was thinking about earlier, like inspiration, like finding what does inspire you to create.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I know. I watch a lot of content creators or a lot of different content. And I really like looking at houses online too. And there's a content creator that has basically did a video said, I quit. And he quit real estate to do YouTube videos because it was blowing up. I think his name is Enos or something like that. And man, he's doing all these $1 million homes in Hollywood. And now he's doing homes all over the world. Not only do I like the architecture, but I like the way he puts it all together. The music, his voice, him talking to the guy off camera. And you just never know where the inspiration could come from to do the show. Like we
Mhm.
actually started our show off today different than I ever had because I had an idea just to do something different. Let's just start off talking about a story that had nothing to do with the show today. It did
mm.
have something to do with us, but why not, do something out of the box and
Right,
see if
change
you
things
can.
up a little bit, right? Because when I was trying to figure out my show for like this season, right? Like what the project that I'm working on right now is like, okay, is a format. Needs to have a countdown timer and then the cold and open and then the intro sequence and then the topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. And then I was like, but does it have to be that? Because it's more uncomfortable for me to we just press live and I'm like, I don't know, what are we going to talk about? Let's, just to see. So it's like
Right.
the advice for you is think of like what's the depth of water you can get into where you're still touching the floor, right? Your toes are still like in the sand, and then go a little bit deeper where you're like,
Yeah,
wait,
come
you're
on.
just a little deep, is a little out of your depth. And then you're like, wait, okay, I can't do it.
Everybody
Marielou
that
is
heard
motivating
that
folks today, man. That's
in the
what it is.
comment box, just type a little deeper.
A little deeper.
Just a little deeper. So go to where you're standing in the water and go a little deeper and see how long you can hold your breath. Okay.
Yeah. Oof, that's good. But I think there's a lot that people can kind of sink their teeth into. I see people in the comment section talking about, hey, these are some of the lessons I've learned. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. They're kind of applying it to some of their stories as well. One thing that Mary Lou touched on earlier was like, what happens when somebody puts a camera in front of you for the first time? And I had a response to that. I completely, vanished from my mind, but it just popped back in just now. And then that was, it, it was actually for me, my dad, as a kid growing up, he would just tap us and be like, hey, tell us what's going on now. And I would just look at the camera and be like, all right, so now we're at the family reunion in Orlando, Florida. And we got family here from Jamaica, from England, from all these different places. And I would just talk with the camera that my dad was holding for hours on end. And it wasn't until going into this process of live streaming and content creation that I realized like, oh, I'm drawing from those experiences way back there. That's where some of this comfortability comes from. Because I couldn't figure out like, okay, why am I so comfortable with like why is me and a camera a good thing? And it began to click. Like these are the reasons why I share with people. You kind of, if you don't know yourself and how you react in certain situations, you don't know where those things come from. You don't know what you're drawing from. You don't know what has kind of built into you these things. That those pieces could be the game changer. Like I mean, they absolutely take you over the line. It's absolutely amazing.
I love it. I love it. Let's go to some of these comments because people are saying so many things. I want to go to Davis first. You get no points for the shots you don't take. That is so true, David. That is so true. G. Albert, lessons learned. Keep tweaking until you look as crispy as Mary Lou. DJ Kirk. Yes. Yes,
Oh, I love that.
keep doing it because it will always change. Like there's gonna be something that you see here, and you want to do something different. Like it took me a while to get used to this TV thing behind me, and I wanted to go back to what I had before, but I've spent so much money on a TV, and I'm like, this TV is gonna work.
You figured it out. You figured it
Yeah, I
out.
figured it out. Yes, that's how I started my morning motivation minute. I needed encouragement first, and then I shared it. That's excellent.
Yep.
Let me see.
That is exactly my format.
So no one has your voice, perspective, and the world needs to hear it. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And of course, you got to go a little deeper.
A little deeper. That is definitely great. I love that.
Deeper.
Go a little
Gotta
deeper.
go.
Oh, that's so good.
Deeper. I've turned the camera on when this is done. That's all we want to do. Like, listen, guys, we want to get you to the place where you can do what you want to create. Like we're trying to, the stream show, of course, is based off helping other streamers create. We want to help you to create. I like streaming because it's easy for me. Okay. I can turn the camera on because it's like radio. All I do is hit the on button and I can go. I have been trained. It is a skill that I learned over years of doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the way I can document, I can journal, I could just do it live. I mean, just grab the phone and absolutely do it. I don't like to edit. Marielou, I don't like to edit.
That's okay.
I hate editing. So instead of getting myself into an area where it's going to slow me down, just figure out how I could do something that I don't need a lot of edits for.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't like editing, let me just repurpose some of the long form content just short. So that gives me all the things that I need to do. And I am inspired by my wife. So putting the camera on her while I'm behind the camera, that still gives me more content, you know? And she gets to
That's why
share.
there's so much cat content I have.
There you go. You're somebody, you can be the director behind camera, right?
Right.
Yes.
Which is so
and
cool.
then you need to, there's something that I've been wanting to challenge people with if they're scared, right? Because it's like, if you're scared, I need you to go run at it. Like, don't even just try it. Like, go run straight at it. Is like, who was saying they're just going to turn the camera on? Qual Comedy, right? She's
yeah.
What I want people to do,
Walker.
start your secret TikTok channel. It could be public secret. I don't care. Put it on your public one, but
this is good.
Put your camera on. No editing. You just press record, set it to 10 minutes, press record, talk. Even if you're saying, I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about today, but like, see what comes out and then end and put it out. Because the create, release, repeat comes from the fact that you need to make something. You have to release it in order to know how you feel about it. Not necessarily how the world feels about it, because people will comment. But like, once you put something out where people could find it, you really know how you feel about it. Because having it in your phone, you're like, maybe I like it, maybe I don't. But like, you put it out and you're like, ooh, I really didn't like that. Or, okay, it was good, right? But, and then you got to repeat. Create, release, repeat. But I really challenge you, if you are not comfortable with doing that yet, start with just talking. Like Obs does her show, this 1 minute motivations, right? So that's 1 minute. Do 3 minutes, do 5 minutes, do 10 minutes. But like, that's where I'm at. Like, I can talk for the 2, 5, 10 minutes. That's where I'm like, okay, fine, 2 hours. You got to sit here and talk for 2 hours.
2 hours.
Twice a week. And it's been delightful, and I am learning so much, and it's like it's been such a good time, and it's such a good challenge. So I challenge you guys to do something like that.
Ah, man, I take that challenge. That is good. I love that challenge.
Let me do this, because I think this is excellent to add what you're talking about, Marielou, to help people out. And Roy Tech Troublemaker kind of gave us a great little pointer of how to do it. Like, if this helps you to feel more comfortable, if you don't know what you're talking about when you record, call it a vlog. If you know what you're talking about, call it a tutorial. I think that is so cool to get around and get out of your head. Get out of your head, and sometimes you are the obstacle. Sometimes you are the obstacles getting in the way. So let that slide.
There's even as Strick was saying, I don't like editing. I got a chance to interview somebody recently, and they were telling me why they do live video, and it's because they almost completely shut down their podcast because they were like, if I have to keep on editing this thing, this is not going to go continue, not even one more week. And so once they shifted to live, you're like, oh my word. So when we're done with the live stream, the video is up and ready for replay. And it kind of blew their minds. And then in the course of our discussion, I was saying to her, you do know that live streaming is live video editing. Like the fact that you add a bumper or overlay or switch scenes and put up graphics, that's all stuff that you would have had to do in post, but you're doing it live. So it's still live video editing. It's just that the prep work is on the front end. You get to, go and have a cup of coffee at the end, right? You don't have to do any more work. You don't have to, so it is still a form of editing, but you just have this finished product. You put everything on the timeline. Here's your intro video. Maybe you have a countdown clock. Maybe you want to trim that off, but it's still editing. You're just editing it live. And so that's, one of those really cool things to keep in mind when you think about live streaming. Yeah. You don't have to put it on in an editor. You don't have to use Final Cut or Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, but you're still editing it. You're still
doing it. Yeah, like it's pre-editing, and it's about removing those obstacles. Like, so if editing is the obstacle for you, there's other ways you can make a nice video with all the fun things just live. My obstacle when I was starting was that, like, every time I have to unplug or plug my gear back in, something's messed up. Something is messed up. So every time I unplug it or plug it back in. So that's why I was like, okay, I have to set up my office where this stuff is plugged in all the time. And I touch it as little as possible. And that was removing an obstacle. And that's years and years and years of that, like not getting tutorials up in time, because I would film my tutorial and then I would want to edit it and like do all this stuff. Like it would keep me from actually getting it to post. And that's how I ended up with Ecamm Fam, is because I was like, I need to learn how to do this live. I need a tool to do this. And then Ecamm lets you set this up in a way that's like so beautiful. So beautiful. And then like you like, and then you reframe yourself of like, live streaming isn't playing video games for 4 hours. It doesn't have to be that. You could live stream for 10 minutes, show the thing you need to show and be out. Or you could sit there and talk for 10 minutes and then find the part where you did talk about stuff. Wait, there's no one way to do it, but think about what is the barrier and like, how can we walk around it? And if you have your barrier, like give it to any of us, tell us, comment to any of us, DM any of us, like there's way around it. I promise you.
That is so good. So good.
And let me add this, guys, as you see us, she said, comment to us or DM us. Like all three of us is on the screen. Like I know I talked to Marielou. Like I'm always commenting on her stuff. We are in Instagram DMs, like talking to each other. Of course, Kurt and I will email, text, or whatever and talk. But listen, it is okay. Like find a way to communicate with somebody. You never know the inspiration you can get to the next person. All of my DMs to Marielou is just telling her how great she is, though.
Or it's a laughing emoji because you watch something and you're just like, that was ridiculous. Okay.
It's so funny, like what she does. And I just think you're absolute pro. I think you're awesome at what you do in your content creation. I wanted to have you on because you inspire me to be creative. And I know that if you inspire me, that you can inspire all the people in the Ecamm fam that's watching tonight. Guys, if you got to this point and haven't commented yet, just make a comment and we'll come back after the video and talk to you inside of the YouTube channel as well. But it's so awesome to have people, friends like Marielou, that'll come and hang out with you and willing to give to the community to help you. Tonight we have David Hunt and Kathy Walker that are saying they're going to do something tonight, inspired tonight to do some type of content, and that's why we are here today. So Marielou, thank you for your time. You have been excellent and awesome.
Yes, Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me on here and like to talk about the community and having other people like this and saying what you have on your heart, whether it is to compliment someone, to reach out to someone, or to put it on your channel. Like it makes a difference. Like Strick is always like, he's always like cheering me on. And like, I know he does that for everyone, but when he tell you, like when I met him at Creator Camp and he told me that, like, he's like, why don't you have a community? You should do a community. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's scary for me. But like, I went home and I was thinking about it and like, I cried. Like,
Mm.
because I was like, that is, somebody wants something like that from me,
Me.
that, like, I do my stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
know the stuff that like
Yeah.
people enjoy, but like that's the scary part for me. But Strick telling me to do that, like, has inspired me to actually work on going in that direction. Now, like, where's it going to go? What's going to happen? I don't know, but I'm at least swimming in the deep end of the pool
Come on.
to
Oh,
see
go
what I can
deeper.
find.
Go
Oof.
deeper. Go deeper. I love it. Thank you for
I love
sharing
this.
that.
That is gold.
Yeah. One of
Gold.
my gifts is to be an encourager. And when you see people that are doing
That's
so
so
very
good.
well, to say, hey, take this next step, because I know that if I tell somebody like you that, it will be
Mm.
challenging to you, that you
Mm.
could like embody it, like you will take it in, and then who knows? It's the same conversation that I had with Doc. Similar conversation. Like, Doc, you gotta put a community together. You gotta
Yeah.
take the next step. You gotta
Yeah.
monetize some of these things you're doing. He made that step off of a one-on-one conversation I was having with him. Not saying that to throw out names, but to say that sometimes people have it, and when they take the challenge and move, then you blossom into another form, another part of the content creator journey, and you get a
Yeah.
chance to see how many other people are like DJ Strick and love your content.
And
This
already
is
we're so lucky, right? We're so lucky that we have this community where we can talk about this, because creating can be
so
such
true.
an isolating
Yes. Oh my
situation,
gosh.
right? It
Yeah.
can be so isolating because a lot of it, we're sitting in rooms talking to ourselves, but we're not really,
Not
So
Right.
just
really.
know we're out there supporting you. You guys are all out here, like, grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to Kirk. I'm grateful to Strick. Like, I'm just grateful that we have people that will cheer us on and want
That's so
want all of us to win. We all want each other to win. I want you to win. You.
that's it. I that last thing right there from Marielou and Strick, I just hope that people plug into that. This is the component why I love the coaching aspect of what I do. I go live so that people can see that I actually have something to share and then I can get more coaching clients because I love coaching. And the reason why I love coaching is because of those transformative moments that Marielou just talked about. It's you just don't know sometimes what the impact your words will have when you share something with somebody in a very real and honest way, like looking for their best interest in mind. And that is absolute gold. I mean, literally renders me speechless to think about that. Man, that was an unlock for you. But I mean, I just think about all the other people out there that need to hear those kinds of things, have those kinds of experiences as well. Because as you said, a lot of times it's just me and the camera sitting in the, I mean, you see you in the camera. But what when you get a chance to hear from somebody else, like, man, have you ever thought about going in this direction? Have you ever thought about doing this? I add this to what you do as well. Now you can't do all of it, but I do love the concept of challenging yourself, and recognizing when there is something that is probably some an area of that you kind of neglected or didn't see as a blind spot. Somebody else can come with fresh eyes and say, hey, this, because they're not looking at it from your vantage point. They're not as close to it as you are. So that's the beauty of not just having a coach. That's one aspect, but having like almost a mastermind, which this community that Ecamm has created has kind of become for a lot of us. So we hear so much from one another, and we're able to learn and apply and grow. Sometimes you don't even, like, I got a DM from somebody who said, you have no clue who I am, but I just been following. I've been listening to some of the things that you're saying. And I got to tell you, I am changing what I'm doing because of some of the stuff I'm seeing from you. That is why I do what I do. Isn't for the likes, isn't for the numbers and the metrics. It's because it's having impact on other people. And I just love that. Love that.
Marielou, after I talked to you that day in Creative Camp, I think it was that the time that you were talking about, it was at the end and we were all sitting around eating and talking. I also had my phone out. And at some point in the day, one of my campers that was in my group, her name is Keisha. She came up to me to greet me, Kirk is standing right beside me. She turns around to Kirk and says, "Oh, can I get your autograph?"
Oh no.
And I had
Are
my
you
phone out, like I I recorded this whole thing because I'm happy that somebody admired Kirk, which I admire him as well, admired
oh
him
my gosh.
enough and seen enough of his content to want his autograph. I thought it was super cool. And these experiences that we all have together
That's it.
is, one of the things that make our community so much better, you know. To be able to share, to be around each other, to do so much work, and then one day out of the year or a couple of days out of the year, we're together and I could create a camp. I just hope that we could revive that energy again and
Yep.
make it even better than the first time. We can't recreate the first one, just
Can't
make it a
recreate
little
it.
different and better. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you come, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you again. And I think I was like super quiet. I was just glad to be around Marielou.
And meanwhile, I'm like, oh my God, he's so nice to me. Why are you so nice to me?
No,
I,
these are
I
people talk about, online community and it not being authentic and not being real. I can tell you, man, garbage. Absolute garbage. I'm telling you, there are people that I'm getting a chance to meet on Zoom. I do this 15-minute thing where people can just kind of grab 15 minutes and I just kind of meet up. It's like learning who they are so that they're not just a title or a YouTube channel name in the comments. I can actually be like, oh, okay, I just had a meeting with them, and it wasn't for anything business related, but it's the intentional steps towards literally making it into a community, and I love those pieces. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to shut up now because I feel like
Oh
Strick's
no,
been trying to land this plane for a while
yeah,
now.
we went a totally different direction. But if you're watching and if you're not inspired, like I need you to pinch yourself right now
Please
because this
do.
is real. This is why we do it live. Like we just never really know. I have questions. I asked 3 or 4 of my questions. The rest of it, God bless you. Like this
God
is
bless
just, yeah, this is just what it is for us tonight when content creators get together. I pray it was inspiring. I have more people saying they're going to record tonight. That's
you.
why we did this. So
That's it.
next
That's it.
week, Kirk, next week, let's do this thing again. We're having
Let's do it
Justin
again.
Brown come through.
Primal Video. Come
For
on.
Primal Video. So I'm excited about having him come back again. He's actually in the future, and I thought I was going to get him closer
True.
to the Super Bowl so he could tell me who would have won because it's
Yeah.
actually Monday. So Sunday night at 7 is Monday night at 9 in Australia. So he's waking up to come on to the show
To
to
come
hang out
on.
with us.
Right.
So don't miss it next week, man. The stream show is going to be cool again. So, hey,
Again.
guys, hold what you got, and I'll see you next week. Now my buttons on my screen, my stream deck are all
Come on,
crazy.
Stream Deck. Come on.
Yeah, this it's not it, it's me. And thank you for the hearts. That's cool.
Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of The Stream Show.